Okay.
Hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. Nice to have you join us once again. And as you know, it's the first Monday of the month. Some of you might be impressed, like I am, that it's December, which in the rhythm of things means another year's coming to a completion. Which I don't know what you notice. I think my experience of it is as you get older, the years go quicker and the sort of hours go slower. It's interesting that. And I've just sold a farm and had to get rid of a whole lot of stuff. And I've learned something that I haven't actually noticed anybody actually put into words, but it's a very interesting human fact. And that is, if you're trying to sell something, it seems to be worth a lot less than you think it is. And if you're trying to buy something, it usually seems to be worth a lot more than you think it would be. I don't know what that says about our human character, but and I don't know if it matches your experience, but it's been quite fun actually. Um, and I guess the other thing is with we've had a farm and a small flat in the city, so we're actually moving into our small flat for a while we work out where to from here. We thought it was enough just to clear the farm and sell it and move from there. Um, so basically, we've had to downsize in a pretty dramatic way, substantial way, which means going through everything and working out what to do with it. And it's been a fascinating experience looking at pretty much everything that we have in that sense of ownership and deciding, is this something I want to keep? Is this something I want to put in the rubbish bin? Is this something I want to put on the bonfire? We had some fantastic bonfires. Is this something that goes in the recycling? Is the kids going to want that? And the short answer to that generally was no. Does anybody else want it? Can we sell it? All that sort of stuff. Really interesting process. Um, and I don't know if any of you have had that experience in recent times. It's been a while since I've done it. And I recall in the past having really enjoyed moving because of this process of going through your stuff and sorting out what's important at this particular point in your life. And I thought I was doing pretty well till I got to the books. Um, and I've got quite a lot of books, so I had a lot of books. Uh, and it sort of overlaps a bit with meditation because the experience I've had of having a library in the house is that it sort of like adds to the atmosphere of the house quite considerably to me in a way that, you know, if you've got books on Kindle and they're just on your computer, it just doesn't seem to be anything like the same experience. But having these hard copy books and having sort of a bookcases with filled with um, you know, treasured books, uh, it's like it holds a really substantial amount of worldly experience and wisdom, um, and a lot of personal memories. So it's like it creates an atmosphere within the house. It's almost like sets a tone in a way, in the way I experience it. And I think this is significant when we come to our meditation because we can create an atmosphere that can really enhance our meditation by where we do the practice and how we prepare for it. So in a similar way that I'm speaking about, that books can create an atmosphere, then it's really helpful if you haven't done it already, and I imagine many of you had, to think about what actually reminds you of meditation practice and inspires it. So traditionally, the way people would do this in their homes would be to have a home shrine of some sort, which was like a particular area of the house that they would call it a shrine, and it could be quite austere, and it could be very elaborate. And so I guess in these days, if you're not aligned to a particular tradition, you get multiple choice. You can choose what it is that helps to inspire your practice and create this atmosphere that when you go there and you sit or you lie down to meditate, these things actually remind you of the practice and inspire your practice. It's almost like helps call you into the practice and create the right atmosphere. And I think many of us can relate to that in the sense of buildings that we've been into. You go into some buildings and there is just a sense of reverence about them. And for those of you who've been into the great cathedrals in Europe, they can be really quite awe-inspiring, even if you're not Christian. And you could go into any great religious building and probably get a similar feeling. And then you can go into other buildings and they just give you the creeps because of the atmosphere that they create. So think about this at home if you haven't already, about what you could place in the place where you meditate most often that's going to help to inspire your practice. And then the other element of that is that when we start our meditation practice, particularly as we get a bit more experience, which I think most of you that join us for these Monday evening sessions are, then we actually create an inner environment too. So think about that. It's like probably the best way to sort of get a real sense or feel of this is that you can do things fairly automatically, and you can do things consciously, and it can have an impact on the experience you have of what you do. So basically what I'm suggesting here is that when you go to meditate formally, each time that you do that you actually remind yourself of what you're doing, what the purpose is, and help to create this inner environment as a starting point for your practice. So I think it's quite common, and most of us will have a personal motivation for our practice. And with Alleviate, we're obviously offering that particularly for people who are going through difficult aspects with their health. And that can range from stress and anxiety right through to major and significant illness. And so I think it's actually really helpful, in fact, when you start your practice, to remind yourself that the purpose of the practice is to help you with that healing process, and to do that consciously. So it's not just a sort of an automatic, almost casual thing, but it's quite deliberate, and you're actually reminding yourself. And what happens when you do that? It's not just like you're saying the words, but if you're actually saying them with some intent, then it's almost like you're getting the benefit of what happens when people describe the placebo response. And it's also almost like has an almost like self-hypnotic effect. It's almost like we know that what we tell ourselves over and over tends to happen. And so each time we meditate, if we remind ourselves of the purpose, it actually taps into that resource. And if you think about just the placebo response, we know from the medical world that most drugs, when they're tested against placebos, the placebos have about a 30% positive result. And so if you think of that, if you're having treatment and you add another 30%, because you're consciously tapping into the placebo, so that's a really significant step just in its own right. So it'd be a pity to miss out on that. So, and that's something you can do through your own practice, through reminding yourself each time. But then also, I think what can actually really enhance your meditation and enhance the benefit of the experience in both a self-serving way and a selfless way is to have this notion that through the meditation practice that you aspire to be able to be more helpful to other people. So if you remind yourself of that at the start of the practice as well, that can have really quite far-reaching benefits. And so this is as simple as saying that you have the intention that through the practice that it not only helps you, but it enables you to be more helpful to all the people around you, and far and wide actually. And when you have that aspiration, it actually takes you out of being completely self-centric. Can you get a feel of that? It's sort of like it's perfectly reasonable to be self-centric, particularly when you're not well, because you obviously if you've ever wondered about that, there's a natural compulsion when you're not well to get well. People who sort of really got into the ethic of this and approached this from a sort of spiritual truth point of view have often spoken with me about, should I be aspiring to get well? Should I just be letting things go? Is it okay to pray to get well? If you're into prayer, should I be praying to get well? And that's a really interesting question to reflect on if you haven't done it. But to me, it seems like if we've got a human body and a human life, then its natural state is to be healthy, and illness is an add-on. So illness isn't the default state, as it were. Good health's the default state. So it's a bit like if you've got a computer with a virus, the natural thing is to want to get rid of the virus. So you can get back to the default state, which is a working computer. So if your body's not well, if your mind's not well, then it's perfectly reasonable to aspire to get it back to good functioning. And if you think about that and what we've been touching on, then if that's only about helping yourself, then it's of limited value. And I must say, I've had conversations with people dealing with, major cancer who've been trying to get well. And I've said to them, well, if all that happens is you get well and you don't do anything with that good health, then actually you're a bit of a waste of space, and why bother? And I don't know if that sounds a bit blunt, but it's like it's really great to aspire to get well, but then think about, well, how can I use that good health to be of benefit? Not just take up space. And that might be just in very simple ways. It might be just how you interact with a few people around you. Not everybody's going to have a big stage to function on, and that's clearly not the point. But it's what you can actually do with your good health, and you don't even have to have a sense of the specific of that. So if I share my own personal experience, when I was really ill, admittedly I was only 24, 25, 26, and, those sort of years. But part of my intention in getting well was to think that I could actually be useful. I could do something useful with the rest of my life. And I had no idea what that was going to lead to. I had no idea that I'd end up doing the things that I did. In those days, I was a veterinarian. I thought maybe I'd be sort of able to help out a bit as a vet. That was the obvious thing. But I didn't have even that sort of specific in mind. It was really just a general sort of intention. And then as years went on, sort of different things evolved. But I think that's the thing, to have that sense of expanding your motivation from just your own recovery to thinking about, when I recover, I'll actually be a more useful person. I can actually do something that's helpful on the planet in some small, medium, big way, whatever, the fates, wherever the fates take you. So we're talking about creating this inner environment that's supported by the outer environment. So just to recap before we start tonight's practice, think about where you meditate most often and what you can place there that helps to remind you and inspire you of meditation practice. So, it might be just as simple as a photograph of a particular person, and it could be like of a saint, or just somebody who inspires you. It could be you have a candle there, simple as that, and you light the candle when you start your practice, and that can be a very good way to break with the day-to-day activity and enter into formal meditation practice. And some people like to light incense. I'm not particularly keen on it myself, but a lot of people do. It can create that sort of aromatic sort of atmosphere and enhance it, and for a lot of people that works. So you just think about what it is that you can have there. Maybe it's an object you've collected at some particular place, or that's got real significance to you. And so think about that outer environment. And as an aside, and we can talk about this another time, the posture helps to support the practice. So think about the posture and how that actually can inspire your practice. And then in this internal sense, think about consciously reminding yourself of why you're actually doing the practice and your intention with the practice, and remind yourself of why you're doing it for yourself, and then think about, how can I broaden out that intention to include as broad a aspiration as possible. Okay, so given that sort of, and one of the things that's, I hope you notice with coming together on these Mondays, is that collectively we create an atmosphere, and you can tune into that sort of collective atmosphere. Of course, with these healing sessions, we're aiming to do that even more, in a more focused way. So again, a thank you to the people who've offered to sort of help to generate that atmosphere, against the background that each one of you helps to contribute to some degree with that. And if you want to have a look on the chat, Saurabh's got the list of people who've requested healing the session for today. So you might like to look through that list, for those of you, particularly for those of you who are in the giving mode. And then let's begin the practice. So if you need to change your position at all, just settle into your posture. And a reminder that this is a practice that can quite readily be done lying down if you're in that receiving mode. And also that you can, hang on, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get rid of this. And also that when we finish, some of you might like just to stay in the atmosphere of the practice, or even if you're in bed, you could maybe just flow on into sleep if it's that sort of time of day for you. So just settle into your posture. And just a reminder, particularly if you're sitting, it's good to have your back upright. And as part of that environment that we create through the posture, have a sense of sitting in an inspired way. So rather than just sort of flopping wherever, it's sort of more like you actually lift up into your posture. I know we talk about relaxing into your posture, but you can do that in a way that's inspired. And one of the images that can help with that is the image of a mountain. So if you think of, if you're sitting, to think of yourself as sitting like a mountain, it's like a mountain's quite still, but there's a sort of a majesty about it that's inspiring. So it's sort of, as you sit, it's got that inspired feeling, but relaxed and quite calm. Yeah, mountains seem to be quite unperturbed about whether it's a sunny day or a full-on storm. They just sort of stay there just the same. And that's what we're aiming for, both with our posture and with our inner state, is that we remain undistracted. So just settle into your posture. And if you're on the receiving end for today, if you're seeking healing, in need of healing, you can follow what's happening as those who are giving actually generate this atmosphere, or you can just sit quietly and openly. And the best way to sort of receive the energy that's created in this way is really just to relax and to be open. And that's no more complicated than when you go to a movie that you know is going to be a good, heartwarming movie, and you just go into the theatre, you sit down, you relax, you don't have to do anything, you don't have to get up and act or direct the show. You can just be open, receptive, be curious, and present, mindful. You don't want to go into sleep in a movie. You don't go to sleep here necessarily. You sort of you'll miss some of the fullness of the experience. So just being relaxed and in that open, receptive state. And for those of us who are giving, just taking a moment to check in with your body, consciously relaxing your body in your own particular way. That sense of actually being in your body being on the chair, cushion. There's that sense of mind and body being connected. And then imagine as if it's in the sky above you, the highest source of power that you know. So this is using an image. to represent something that's formless. So it may be an image like Christ or Mother Mary or a particular saint, or image from a particular tradition. Or it may be something more abstract, like a ball of light, like the sun, representing that limitless energy and potential that the universe holds. And we're using the image to provide an intermediary as a way of actually accessing and drawing on that energy and power and loving kindness that goes with it. So if you are into prayer, you could direct a prayer towards that image or person. And then have the sense that this image that you're holding in your mind, as if it's in the sky above you, responds, and a stream of white light flows down towards you like an outpouring of loving kindness, healing energy, warmth, all that's good in the world. And it's flowing down like a light, but also as if it's got like a vapor quality, almost like being under a fine shower or waterfall. Just like a fine mist or vapor. And as you breathe in, it's like you breathe in this clear, almost translucent light, mist, vapor. Sometimes as you breathe it in, you might feel like a warmth flowing in with it, or a little bit of a tingling. Feel it enlivening your own chest as you breathe in. It's almost like a gentle light going on in your own chest as you breathe this light vapor into your chest. And as you breathe out, just releasing anything that's old or worn, unwanted, anything you'd like to be free of. So it's almost like an internal cleansing as you breathe in, and just breathe out and let go of anything you need to be free of. And then as you continue to breathe in, consciously drawing in this clear white light, just imagine now as if it flows with the out-breath down through your body, down through your torso, down through the hips, down through thighs, calves, feet. A bit like filling up a vase, pouring water in from the top. So each breath you're drawing in more of this clear white light. And just that sense of it's coming from an infinite source. So each time you breathe in, it's just like more of this fine vapor mist flowing down, flowing right down through your body. And as your lower body feels, then with the out breath, it flows out across your shoulders and down through the arms, down into the hands and the fingers. Again, sometimes you can feel like a warmth or a tingling flowing down through the lower limbs and out into the fingers. Breathing in, drawing in more white light. Breathing out, now it's going up through your neck, filling your head. So it's like your whole body's filled with this shimmering, almost translucent white light, cleansing, purifying, all through the body, mind. And now as you breathe out, start with somebody that you know who at this particular time's going through some difficulty, maybe a health issue, physical, mental health issue, or just a particularly difficult phase in their life. And just imagine as if they were in front of you. And next time you breathe out, imagine the white light going from your heart region to their heart region, almost like a beam of light, like a searchlight. And so now with each in-breath, you're drawing in more white light from that infinite source above you. It's just flowing down quite easily. And with the out-breath, that sense of your body being filled with light, it's now almost like it's flowing through you and from your heart going to the heart of this person you care about, and gradually filling their body in the same way, flowing down through their torso, their legs, and then out across the arms up into their head. And if you have a sense there's a particular need, like a particular area of their body, you could direct more of the light to that area. And just imagine them filled with this pure white light, as if their whole body is glistening, translucent, almost like a hologram, with this clear white light flowing all through their body. And that sense of healing, energy, loving kindness, appreciation, warmth, being felt all through their body. Like every cell in their body feeling this. And if you're aware of any difficulties that they're having, it's almost like when you turn a light on, the darkness just disappears. So it's like we're imagining, we're feeling, having this real strong sense of sending light to this person in need, this person you care about. Any darkness or difficulty, it's like the light filling that, transforming it. So then, having used this person that you know and care about as a starting point, then just think more widely now of the people who are online with us this particular moment, knowing that there are people in real need. And as you breathe in more, drawing on that infinite reserve, that infinite potential of energy, healing, loving kindness. And then imagine it radiating out from your heart, that region of your heart, to the heart region of the people in need. And imagine them feeling it. You know, maybe there are some people you know who are online with this. There's probably quite a few that you don't. But just imagine each one of these people feeling this loving kindness, this healing energy, this warmth coming into the region of their heart and then flowing out through every part of their body. Firstly, going down through their torso, through their tummy, down through the hips, pelvis, down to the calves and the thighs, feet. In like that sense of filling a vase with this, it's like vapor, light, luminous sense of energy, healing, loving kindness. Then going up through the shoulders, cross out through the arms, down through the arms, forearms, hands, fingers. And this light flowing through every part of their body. So wherever there might be an area that needs healing, this light flowing into each of those regions. And a bit like a cave that might have been dark for many years, maybe centuries. As soon as light comes into a place like that, it just transforms it immediately. So flowing up through the neck into the head and into the head. And having a real sense of this light flowing through you now. It's not something you're generating, it's something you're actually facilitating. It's like this energy is coming from that infinite source, this sort of universal, divine, infinite source. And we're just helping to direct it, to draw it down, focus, and help share it with people in need. So feel it flowing into your body, feeling your body, feeling your heart, flowing all through your body. Those who are giving it, flowing through to the people in need. For those of you in need, feeling that energy coming into your heart region, filling your heart, expanding out through your chest, down through your tummy, hips and pelvis, down through the thighs, calves, feet. If you have the sense there's a particular area that needs more of this energy or light, you can just imagine directing it to that area. And as the energy continues to flow towards you, into you, have that sense of it going out from your chest, from your heart region, out across your shoulders, down through the arms, the elbows, the forearms, hands, fingers, through the throat, through the head, so it's like your whole body's filled with this warm, clear white light, luminous. It's like every cell in your body feels it. Helping to restore its natural balance, its natural capacity to heal, to be well. and just resting in that feeling. Feeling it all through the body, the mind. Just resting in that feeling for a few moments now. So then as we have that feeling of this energy flowing through us, fulfilling us, maybe we can just take a moment to think of people all around the world in need of healing. Whether those who are dealing with disease, accident, whatever causes physical or emotional, mental, even spiritual disease, we can have that strong wish that they feel something of this presence, this potential for healing. You can imagine this light radiating out to all the people in need. You can have that wish that they too might feel this light coming into their lives, spreading through their body, their mind, opening the potential for healing and real well-being. And some of you might just like to rest in this atmosphere for a little while longer. And some of you might just like to let your eyes open gently when you're ready. Maybe a little stretch. Sense of gratitude. The practice of either giving or receiving. It's clearly a practice that if you're giving, it can have a really strong benefit from you personally and in the practice. And I hope that people who are receiving feel some of the benefit. As I say, if you just want to sit with the feeling for a while, we'll close the session and you can just finish off in your own time.